If you've done the therapy, read the books, sat in the retreats, built the business, and yet something still feels slightly off in your relationships, in your leadership, or perhaps your sense of inner harmony, it's probably not because you need more information. It's more likely you understand the architecture but haven't fully operationalized it. You're executing relentlessly but without deep structural understanding. And today, I want to explain why that gap exists, and in this video, how you can close it. William Pearce, welcome back. For a long time, I lived in the architecture, studying non-dual Shaiva Tantra the last 6 years, understanding consciousness, mapping, contraction, and awakening. I've loved it. But insight alone doesn't pay the rent. And it didn't automatically dissolve my relationship patterns. Then I immersed myself in the works of Tony Robbins, state, leverage, decision, standards, and that began to move things. But without the depth of Tantra, it sometimes can feel mechanical. And I realized something. Most people, like I was, live on one side of the bridge. Very few of us learn how to walk between the two. Let me break it down for you. Tantra, especially non-dual Shaiva Tantra, says this. Reality is consciousness. You are not separate from it, but simply consciousness contracted. This contraction is called sankosha. It's not a flaw. It's how infinite awareness localizes into a person, into you. But when contraction solidifies, it becomes identity. Tantra calls this anavamala, the impurity of individuality, the false belief that we are separate from the divine, that we are not enough. It's the moment infinite awareness says, I am this and not that. And now you have a self-concept. Then repetition creates grooves, what Tantra calls samskara. Emotional charge plus repetition equals belief. Belief becomes identity. Identity becomes nervous system pattern. Pattern becomes life. Truth is, you don't need more knowledge. What is more useful is decontraction. Now, Tony doesn't talk about sankosha. He talks about state. He doesn't speak of anavamala. He says raise your standards. He doesn't say samskara, but he does point to patterns and interrupting them. He's operationalized what Tantra explains. Tantra maps why contraction happens. Tony gives you the mechanics to shift it. It's like Tantra is pure mathematics and Tony's work is applied engineering. One explains gravity, the other helps you build things that defy it. So if you're successful, you're earning well, leading teams, building things, but still slightly get a challenge in your relationship, it's because contraction is still running in your nervous system. You may even understand your patterns, but understanding doesn't automatically dissolve them, as I have found. On the other side, if you've had mystical experiences, you've felt unity, expansion, insight, time and timelessness, but your bank account and partnership still wobbles, it's because expansion without integration doesn't stabilize. Architecture without engineering is just theory. Engineering without architecture is unstable. What's required is both. This is where I sit. Not as a monk, not as a hype coach, but as a bridge. I've studied the architecture deeply and I care deeply about application fiercely. The tantric path is an integrative one. One without the other is missing half of the coin. through the clarity protocol, sex prayers and contact massage, I support people recognize contraction, interrupt pattern, reinforce expansion, integrate joy. All about that joy for me. Not to transcend life, but to enjoy it. Tantra isn't one about a transcendental path. It is not like Patanjali. It is an integrative path, acknowledging your divine nature and enjoying a worldly pleasure. Because joy, Ananda, is not an achievement. It's the baseline state when contraction relaxes. It's who you are at your essence nature. Just notice for a moment where in your life you understand the pattern, but still repeat it. And where are you executing brilliantly, but without the depth you know is possible? Let those questions land. Because thinking is, as Tony says, just asking and answering questions. And that's what I do. I ask high quality questions so that you can find your high quality answers. Because when the right question is asked at the right time, something reorganizes, shifts occur, change becomes possible, and reality restructures to what you're wanting to manifest. You don't have to choose between success and salvation. Tony calls it growth and contribution. Tantra calls it expansion and recognition, pratabhignya, the moment you recognize what you've already been. One builds the external structure, the other stabilizes the internal foundation. And you get to have both. It's your birthright to have both. It's available. It's just having the understanding of how and the structure in place to execute why. So if this resonates for you, not intellectually, but somewhere deeper, please, I invite you to write in the comments. Notice where you're living on one side of the bridge, architecture or application, and share. When you begin to recognize it, write about it, talk about it, explore into it, shifts occur. And I'm so eager, keen, ready, willing, able to be a part of that journey with you. So if you're ready to walk across it, that's what my work is for. Clarity protocol, 4-stage, structured protocol to identify the things that have been inhibiting you, the limitations, not to just identify from a surface intellectualized or even emotional level, but to understand the deep-seated belief behind it, and then to actually apply change so that it integrates into your life rather than becoming something you're continually striving for but not actually attaining. Aligned living isn't about becoming someone else. It's about strengthening the bridge between what you know and how you live. And if you're building something meaningful in the world, like we are, it helps when your internal structure matches your external success. Thank you for joining me today. See you in the next video.